Tom Riker wiped his hands on his uniform and looked around the empty spaceport. The morning sun reflected off the silver panels of the colony's landing pads. Most people were already at work, and the loud hum of departing spaceships filled the air. Tom was just a janitor. He cleaned floors, polished walls, and mopped spills. No one ever noticed him. He liked it that way. Life was simple, quiet, and safe. But today something was different. As he swept the corner near the storage hangar, he heard a soft, strange sound. It was almost like a small whimper. Tom froze. The hangar was empty, except for stacked crates and maintenance bots humming quietly. He crouched down and looked behind a stack of crates. There, in the shadows, was a small figure. It was no human. Its skin was pale green with large round eyes that glowed faintly. It looked thin, weak, and scared. Its small hands trembled as it tried to hide. Tom felt his heart tighten. The alien child was starving. Its ribs showed clearly under its thin skin, and it made soft, hungry noises. Tom's first thought was, I have to help it. He remembered the small ration pack he had tucked in his pocket for lunch. Without hesitation, he knelt down and held it out. Here, eat, he said gently. The alien hesitated, then slowly reached for the pack. Its fingers were tiny but surprisingly agile. It opened the package and began eating. Tom watched quietly, careful not to scare it. He had seen many alien species during his time at the spaceport, but none so small, so fragile. After a few minutes, the alien paused. It looked at him with big, sad eyes as if asking, Will you help me? Tom nodded. Don't worry. I won't hurt you, he said. The child made a soft sound, almost like a whisper, and moved closer. Tom realized it had no home nearby, no family. He thought of the rumors he had heard about war and distant star systems. Maybe this child had escaped from something terrible. Tom gently lifted it into his arms. The child was lighter than he expected, almost like holding a small bundle of cloth. He carried it to his modest home on the edge of the colony. His house was small, just one room, but it was clean and warm. He set the child on a chair and poured some water into a small bowl. The alien drank carefully, tilting its head in curiosity. Tom smiled softly. There. That's better, right? The child nodded, or at least Tom thought it did. He didn't understand its language, but its expressions were clear enough. Hunger, fear, and now a little trust. Tom realized he could not leave it outside. The colony was bustling, noisy, and sometimes dangerous. People would not understand. Some might even call the authorities. But Tom didn't care. He would protect this child no matter what. He looked at the small alien and felt something he had never felt before. A strange sense of responsibility. Not for a machine, not for a ship, but for a living being from another world. He wondered how it had come so far alone. Where was its family? Were there others like it? He didn't know, and he didn't have time to think too much. Right now it needed care. He carefully laid out a small blanket and helped the child lie down. Its breathing became slower, calmer. Tom sat nearby, listening to the faint sounds of the spaceport outside. For the first time that morning he felt a sense of peace. He had done something good, something important. But the universe had a way of noticing these things. Tom didn't know it yet, but this small act of kindness would not go unnoticed. Far away in a dark corner of space, sensors picked up the child's presence. Signals blinked on consoles aboard distant ships. Something stirred among the stars. Tom, meanwhile, continued sitting by the child. He didn't speak much. He didn't know what words would comfort a being from another world. He just stayed close, offering warmth, safety, and a small sense of hope. Night fell. The twin moons of the colony rose high in the sky, casting a silver light through his window. The child stirred slightly but did not cry. Tom felt proud. He had never been a hero, never wanted to be. But in that moment he realized that heroes were not always soldiers or pilots. Sometimes heroes were janitors. Sometimes heroes were people who simply chose to care. And tomorrow he would wake up and see what consequences this small kindness would bring. For now, though, he just watched over the little alien. Its eyes slowly closed and it fell asleep, exhausted but safe. Tom leaned back in his chair and let out a soft sigh. He didn't know what the next day would bring, but he knew one thing. He had done the right thing. And sometimes, doing the right thing was the beginning of the most extraordinary adventure. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the small window of Tom's house. He stirred from his chair, careful not to wake the alien child. But when he looked, the little creature was already sitting up, blinking slowly at the strange world around it. Its glowing eyes reflected curiosity, fear, and something else, trust. Tom smiled. "Good morning," he said softly. "Did you sleep well?" The child made a soft, musical sound. It was not a word he could understand, but it felt like a greeting. Tom realized he would have to learn its language slowly, bit by bit. He went to the cupboard and pulled out the small ration pack he had kept for himself. "Eat something. You need strength," he said. The child sniffed the food and hesitated. Then, slowly, it took a piece in its tiny hands and ate carefully. Tom watched, his heart warming. There was something gentle in its movements, something fragile yet brave. After breakfast, Tom tried to communicate. He pointed to himself. "Tom," he said. Then he pointed to the child. The alien tilted its head and made a small chirping sound. Tom laughed softly. "Okay, I guess we'll need names later." The child began to move around the small room, touching objects, exploring cautiously. Its fingers were long and delicate, tracing the edges of furniture and the patterns on the walls. Tom watched it, amazed. Even a human child could not be so careful and deliberate. He knew the child was not from this planet. Its species did not resemble any he had ever seen at the spaceport. Stories had circulated about alien refugees, about children fleeing wars in distant galaxies. Perhaps this child was one of them. The thought made his chest tighten. Tom knelt down and held out his hand. The child hesitated, then slowly placed its small hand in his. The warmth of contact was simple yet powerful. Tom felt a strange connection forming, a bond stronger than words. For hours they sat together. Tom tried simple gestures, pointing, nodding, showing objects. The child watched, and sometimes it copied him. When Tom held up a cup and mimed drinking, the child made the same motion. Small victories, but victories nonetheless. By midday the child had become more comfortable. It even allowed Tom to pick it up and carry it to the small garden behind the house. Tom had planted a few hardy shrubs and herbs, and he hoped the fresh air and sunlight would help the child regain strength. As they stepped outside, a soft breeze ruffled Tom's hair. The child tilted its head, fascinated by the simple beauty of the world. Tom smiled. "You've never seen plants like these, have you?" he asked. The child made a small sound, almost like laughter, and reached out to touch a bright yellow flower. Tom felt something he had never expected: hope. This small creature, far from home, could still find wonder in a strange world. And Tom realized that he, too, had found something new: responsibility, purpose, and perhaps even friendship beyond his understanding. But as they played quietly, a distant hum echoed through the sky. Tom paused. At first he thought it was a passing shuttle, but the sound grew stronger, mechanical, deliberate. He looked up, worry tightening in his chest. The child froze. Its glowing eyes darted toward the sky, and it made a small, urgent sound. Tom did not understand, but he sensed fear. Something was coming. Tom grabbed the child gently. "It's okay. Stay close," he whispered. He didn't know if it was danger or just a patrol drone, but he felt protective instincts he had never felt before. He looked around his small home, thinking of where they could hide, but there was nowhere. The colony was open, and soon people would notice. For the first time, Tom realized how fragile life could be, even for someone small and powerful in their own way. The child was helpless here, and he was its only protector. He felt a surge of determination. No matter what came, he would not let harm touch it. The hum grew louder, and Tom peered into the sky. He saw a small drone descending, scanning the area. The child trembled in his arms. Tom held it closer. "Don't worry. I won't let anything happen to you," he said firmly. He felt courage rising inside him, stronger than he had known. The drone hovered for a moment, its sensors sweeping over the house. Then, as if satisfied, it rose and flew away. Tom exhaled, relief washing over him. The child relaxed, leaning into his chest. Tom looked down at it. "See? You're safe. For now." The child made a small sound that felt like agreement, nuzzling his shoulder. Tom smiled, realizing that even without words, they understood each other. Trust had been built and a bond formed. As evening came, Tom sat with the child, watching the twin moons rise. He thought about the universe beyond the colony, about distant galaxies and fleets of alien ships. He wondered if this child had family somewhere out there searching for it. Somehow he knew that one day he might find out. For now he would protect the child. He would care for it, teach it, and keep it safe. And tomorrow he would learn more about the strange, glowing creature who had wandered into his life and changed it forever. Because in the quiet of a small human colony, two lives had met. One was fragile, alien, and alone. The other was simple, human, and kind. And together they had begun something extraordinary. The day after the child arrived, Tom felt a quiet tension in the air. He had been careful, feeding it, letting it rest, and teaching it small things. But he could not shake the feeling that something had noticed the alien's presence. He was working in the garden when the first strange signal appeared. His small comm device, usually silent, beeped with a rapid pulse. Tom frowned and picked it up. The screen flashed with strange symbols and patterns he did not recognize. He tapped it, hoping it was a malfunction. But the signals continued, stronger now, almost urgent. The child, who had been playing nearby, froze. Its glowing eyes focused on the sky, and it made a series of soft, melodic sounds. Tom did not understand, but he sensed alarm. He had never seen it react this way before. Tom hurried inside, holding the child close. "What is it?" he asked softly. Of course it did not answer in words. It only clutched at his arm as if trying to tell him to be careful. He studied the comm device. The symbols blinked, shifting into patterns that looked like coordinates, star maps, and signals moving through space. Tom realized, with a sudden jolt of understanding, that these were not ordinary messages. Something or someone had detected the child's location. His heart beat faster. "They're coming," he whispered. But he did not know who they were. Were they friendly? Were they dangerous? He could only hope. The child squirmed in his arms and pointed toward the sky. Its small fingers traced patterns in the air, glowing faintly. Tom watched in amazement. Somehow, the child was communicating with the devices outside the house, or perhaps even with ships far away. The thought made him both fearful and awed. Tom quickly realized that the simple act of feeding and sheltering this alien child had triggered a chain reaction. Somewhere in the galaxy, sensors were active. Ships were moving. Forces were responding. And he, a simple janitor on a quiet colony, was at the center of it. He tried to stay calm. "Okay, let's think," he said, pacing in his small home. He could not hide the child forever, and he could not run. The colony was too small, too open. The only thing he could do was protect it and hope for the best. He looked down at the child, who now seemed to understand the urgency. Its small body trembled, but it stayed close. Tom gently stroked its head. "I've got you," he said. "I won't let anyone hurt you." The signals continued, each beep stronger than the last. Tom's mind raced. He thought about the stories he had heard of alien fleets, of warships moving across galaxies. Could it be possible that an entire fleet was coming for this child? And if so, would they be friendly or would they see him as a threat? He decided to prepare just in case. He checked his home for anything that could serve as a barrier or shield. He moved crates to block windows and doors. He gathered small tools, anything that could be used for defense. He did not have weapons, but he had determination. And sometimes that was enough. Outside, the colony went on as usual. Workers moved along the landing pads, shuttles took off, and children played near the market. No one noticed the signals that pulsed quietly in the sky. No one guessed that the fate of a small janitor and an alien child was about to change everything. Tom tried to focus on the child. He brought it to the table and offered more food. The child ate carefully, then leaned against him. Tom realized that despite the danger, trust had grown between them. The child believed he would protect it, and that belief gave Tom courage he had never known before. Hours passed. The signals slowed slightly, but Tom knew it was only temporary. He glanced at the sky, trying to see something, any sign of ships. The child's glowing eyes scanned the horizon too, alert and wary. Tom felt a deep respect for this small being. It was fragile, yet it held power he could not yet understand. As night fell, the twin moons rose over the colony. The signals pulsed one last time before fading into quiet, leaving a tense calm over the house. Tom sat with the child in his arms, feeling both relief and anticipation. He did not know what would come next, but he knew the galaxy had noticed. And soon, very soon, that notice would arrive in a way he could not ignore. Tom whispered softly, "Tomorrow we might find out who is coming. But right now you are safe with me." The child rested against his chest, its small hand clutching his shirt. In that quiet moment, Tom understood something important. Even the smallest acts of kindness could ripple across the stars. And in the galaxy, some ripples could not be ignored. Tom woke before dawn, his eyes heavy but alert. The morning air was still cool, and a quiet tension hung over the small colony. He had barely slept, thinking about the strange signals from the previous day. Something was coming. He could feel it in the trembling air and in the way the alien child stirred beside him. Suddenly, a low hum filled the sky, unlike any engine or shuttle he had ever heard. Tom froze. The child jumped slightly in his arms, its glowing eyes wide with fear and recognition. Tom's heart raced. "It's them," he whispered. "The ones looking for you." Outside, the sky began to fill with shapes. Hundreds of ships, sleek and shining, moved in precise formations. Their surfaces reflected the rising sun, creating a dazzling light that made the small colony seem tiny and fragile. Tom's jaw dropped. He had never seen anything like it. There were not dozens, there were hundreds of ships, all descending toward his home. The alien child clutched him tightly. Its small hands pressed against his chest and it made soft, urgent sounds. Tom tried to soothe it. "It's okay. Stay calm. I'll protect you," he said. But even as he spoke, he could feel the weight of the moment pressing down. The ships hovered over his house, forming a perfect line across the horizon. A massive shadow fell over his yard. The alien child tensed and pointed upward. Tom looked and saw figures descending. They were taller than humans, with armor that glowed faintly, and eyes that reflected both intelligence and authority. Tom stepped forward, holding the child in his arms. He did not know whether these beings were friend or foe, but he refused to run. He refused to hide. He had fed this child, protected it, and now he would face the consequences. A figure approached, more imposing than the others. It was tall, with golden markings on its armor and eyes that seemed to pierce through the morning light. The child wriggled slightly in Tom's arms and made a soft sound. The figure paused, then knelt down, gazing at the child. Tom's heart pounded. The alien leader extended a hand toward the child. The child ran forward and embraced the figure. Tom stepped back, amazed. The leader turned toward him, and for the first time, Tom felt the weight of recognition. You helped my child," the leader said, speaking in a language Tom did not understand. But somehow he understood the meaning. The tone was calm, almost reverent. The child had been found by the right person. Tom swallowed hard. I just fed it. I didn't know. I was just a janitor," he said. His voice trembled. The alien leader looked at him, then slowly nodded. Around him, the other figures relaxed. Their stance changed from alert to respectful. Tom realized that in their eyes he had done something remarkable. He had acted without fear, without expectation of reward, and without hesitation. His simple kindness had earned their trust. The fleet remained above, silent but watching. Tom knew that if he had reacted differently, if he had run, hidden, or tried to fight, the child might not have been safe. But now, standing in front of hundreds of ships and dozens of aliens, he felt a strange sense of pride. The child made soft sounds again and looked up at Tom. Its glowing eyes seemed to say thank you. Tom smiled softly, tears threatening to fall. He had never been a hero, not in any storybook sense. But right now he realized he had done something far greater. The alien leader gestured, and several figures brought small devices from their ships. They scanned the child, then scanned Tom. He watched quietly, unsure what to expect. But instead of threat or punishment, there was recognition. Respect. Gratitude. Tom stepped back and let the child move freely toward its parent. The child looked over its shoulder and made a small sound. Tom nodded. "Go on," he said gently. "You're safe now." The parent alien knelt and extended a hand toward Tom. "You are human," it said again in its own language, "but your heart is greater than many of our warriors." Tom blinked. He did not know how to respond. His whole life had been ordinary, unnoticed. And now, in front of hundreds of alien ships, he felt extraordinary. The fleet lingered for a moment, then slowly began to rise, forming perfect lines in the sky. Tom watched as they disappeared toward the horizon, taking the child with them. He felt a pang of sadness but also relief. The child was safe. The galaxy had seen what a human could do. As the last ship vanished into the sky, the colony began to stir. Workers and neighbors emerged, looking at Tom's yard in amazement. No one could explain what had just happened. But Tom did not care. He had done his duty and that was enough. He looked at the empty space where the fleet had hovered and whispered, "You're welcome." The child's glowing presence had gone, but the memory lingered. Tom realized that even a small person, a janitor, could make a difference in the universe. That night he sat outside staring at the stars. Somewhere far away the child was safe. And somewhere, far beyond that, the alien fleet remembered a human who had done what no one else would. Tom smiled. Life would go on, ordinary and quiet, but he had changed something forever. And in the quiet of the night, he understood a simple truth. Being human and choosing kindness could reach farther than any starship. The colony was quiet again. Tom woke early, but the sky was empty this time. No ships hovered overhead, no strange signals pulsed in the air. The alien child was gone, and the fleet had vanished beyond the horizon. Yet Tom felt a strange warmth in his chest, a feeling he could not explain. Something extraordinary had happened. He went about his morning routine, sweeping the floors and cleaning the small house. But everything felt different. Even the ordinary chores seemed important now. Every movement, every small task, reminded him that life could be meaningful, even in the smallest acts. The memory of the alien child lingered. Tom thought of its glowing eyes, its tiny hands gripping his shirt, and the trust it had placed in him. He remembered the fleet, silent and perfect above the colony, and the alien leader who had looked at him with something like awe. For a simple human janitor, that had been unimaginable. A soft chime from his comm device interrupted his thoughts. Tom picked it up. At first, he thought it was another signal from the fleet. But it was something else. A simple message appeared in symbols he did not understand at first. Then it changed into words, slowly forming in basic galactic common. Tom Riker. Your kindness has been noted. You are welcome among the stars. You may remain here or you may travel with us. Your choice. Tom blinked. He had never thought of himself as important. He had never wanted adventure or recognition. But now, an entire alien fleet was offering him a place among them. He laughed softly, shaking his head. I'm just a janitor, he whispered. The child's memory seemed to answer him. He realized that even a janitor could be brave, even a janitor could make a difference. Helping someone in need was enough to echo across the galaxy. That simple truth filled him with pride. He walked outside, letting the morning sun warm his face. The colony seemed smaller now, but in a comforting way. He had lived here quietly, unnoticed, and now he knew that even the smallest acts could matter more than anyone imagined. Tom decided to stay. He could leave with the fleet, explore the stars and see wonders he could never imagine. But he chose his home. He chose his life. He chose to be human, with simple work, small routines, and the knowledge that he had done something extraordinary. Weeks passed. The colony returned to normal, but whispers began to spread. Workers and neighbors spoke of the janitor who had saved an alien child and faced a fleet without fear. Tom didn't correct them. He smiled quietly, letting the story grow, but knowing the truth, he had only acted with his heart. One evening, as he was sweeping near the landing pads, a familiar hum echoed through the sky. Tom looked up. A small group of ships descended, sleek and quiet. He recognized them immediately. Not the full fleet, just a few vessels this time. The child returned, now a little older, stronger and happier. It ran toward him, glowing softly, and Tom knelt to meet it. The child chirped happily, its small hands touching his face. Tom laughed. I thought I'd never see you again, he said. The child made a sound that felt like agreement and pointed toward the stars. The lead alien emerged from one of the ships, bowing slightly. Your kindness will not be forgotten, Tom Riker. You have changed more than a life. You have changed the heart of our people. You are honored. Tom shook his head. I just fed a child, he said, almost in disbelief. I didn't do anything heroic. The alien smiled. True heroism is often invisible. But the stars remember all acts of kindness. You have shown that humanity is capable of courage and compassion, even in its simplest forms. Tom felt something he had never felt before, recognition. Not fame, not power, but a sense that he had mattered, that one human's choice could echo across the galaxy. He looked at the child and smiled. I'm just glad you're safe. The alien leader nodded. You are part of our story now. And one day the galaxy may need your kindness again. Tom watched as the small fleet lifted back into the sky. The child waved goodbye and he waved back. A sense of peace settled over him. He returned to his house, picked up his broom and resumed sweeping as ordinary as ever. But now, his heart carried the weight of something extraordinary. He thought about the future. Maybe someday he would travel among the stars. Maybe someday the child and the fleet would return. But for now he knew that being human, simple, kind, brave in small ways, was enough. It was enough to change lives, enough to touch the stars, enough to remind the universe that courage and kindness were universal. As night fell, Tom sat on his small porch, staring at the sky. The stars seemed brighter now, as if winking at him. He smiled quietly and whispered, sometimes, being human is the greatest power of all. And in the quiet of the colony, a janitor's heart beat steadily, proud, brave and unafraid, knowing that even the smallest person could leave a mark among the stars.